Boris Johnson talked about there the fact that he had managed to win over support from former Labour voters, the Red Wall, as it's known electorally across the north of England, across the Midlands, across Wales, crumbling. I mean, why is that? Is that because of Brexit? Is that because they didn't like Corbyn? How do you explain it?
Well, I think it's both of those things. I mean, certainly from what I've been picking up, there was a lot of antipathy to Jeremy Corbyn. He was cited as a reason why people weren't going to vote Labour. A lot to do with terrorism and security and patriotism. I mean, we know all of this about Jeremy Corbyn. He was certainly a factor. And of course, those were the Leave seats as well. And I think there was a general feeling amongst a lot of those people that Brexit hadn't happened and they wanted Brexit to happen. And so this mantra of get Brexit done resonated with them. And I think behind all of that, there's the lack of industry, the decline of the industry there, these old industrial areas where people haven't had, if they're in work, they haven't had pay rises for a very long time. There's been government austerity on top of that, which ironically is from a Conservative government. So these people were really left behind. Their lives were pretty awful one way and another, and Brexit became the scapegoat. They saw the EU as the cause of the problems, which of course it wasn't. Boris Johnson turns up, all bluff and bluster, saying we're going to get Brexit done, and that's what they wanted.
Jeremy Corbyn did try and focus on austerity and public services and trying to boost the health service, the NHS. And why don't you think that resonated enough clearly with people there?
Well, I think what was interesting about that was Boris Johnson cottoned onto that very quickly and then also started talking about the NHS and public services and made a commitment to more nurses and more money for the NHS, more hospitals. I mean, whether he'll deliver on that is a big question, but he tackled it, he dealt with it. And so people thought, well, fine, he's going to get Brexit done and we're going to get a better NHS.
Do you think the Labour Party can ever win back those voters?
Well, it's interesting, and it's not just a British phenomenon. The social democratic parties in Europe, Germany, France, not Spain, but most of they're declining. They're having the same problems. I think we need, not just as political parties, but as a country, to have a real analysis of this, because political parties, certainly the Labour Party, grew out of the way people work and are organised around factories and work. And that's changed now, and we need to have a radical rethink about how we represent people, because quite clearly the Labour Party is not representing people very well at the moment.
All right, thank you very much indeed to Mary Honeyball there. Until very recently, Labour MEP with a pretty stark analysis of the Labour Party's performance. They're handing back over to the studio to you now in Paris.
Thank you very much, Catherine Norris-Trent, and thank you as well to your guest, Mary Honeyball.